Amanda from StraightSmile Solutions, and I get this question a lot with my customers, with my doctors. They ask me a lot about rubber bands, especially the patients, whether they're Invisalign or they're in traditional braces. The question is, what size, what orientation should I prescribe for rubber bands? What's the best way to wear them? How do I know if it's the right size? So I'm going to take you a little bit through some rubber band formats and see what you think. So here, it doesn't matter what kind of rubber bands you use. There's all different ones. The main thing is you want to make sure that they're new rubber bands, because over time, rubber bands do degrade. Here, I'm using Ormco brand, but many different options out there. These are the colored ones. I would recommend latex rubber bands. They're a little stronger than non-latex. Of course, if you have a non-latex patient or latex-sensitive patient, that's a different story. But from there, basically, some of the popular ways that you would wear rubber bands, let's start today with, say, box elastics, okay? That's a popular one to try to settle the bite. So go ahead and take a look here. If the bite is a little open or deep, a little bit deep, and you maybe have some bite ramps back here, you need to settle the bite. You usually will wear them from the 6s to the 3s, basically making a rectangle. How to pick the right size? Goodness, it really depends on the bite of the patient. It really depends on the teeth. But ideally, it's best to find the smallest possible size that the patient can comfortably take on and off. And if the patient is in between sizes, usually I recommend maybe picking a slightly bigger and a slightly smaller size. They can wear the bigger one during the day, the smaller one at night. And I'm talking about diameter right now. I'm not even talking about strength, okay? Because there's a whole grid. They come in different diameters and different strengths. So you can go ahead, and for these, usually I use, you can use 3/16, you can use quarter. Right here, here's a 3/16 right here. This is a little bit heavy, okay? So now we're gonna talk about strength a little bit. This is 6 ounces. 6 ounces is a little bit too heavy if you have a light wire. So I wouldn't recommend it necessarily if you're in a light night tie. But this is what I have here. So we're gonna go ahead and show you how to put them on. The patient shouldn't walk out of your office until they can comfortably take the rubber bands on and off a few times and show your assistant that they can do it, okay? So there are little hooks to help you out, so you can give the patient those. It's a little harder to do it on a Typodont sometimes, but nails do help. And there we go. There's a nice little posterior box elastic. And if you have the hooky, it helps more. Just make sure the patient can comfortably do it, show it a few times, give the patient time, don't stress the patient out. On, off, okay, you're great. If it's a child, show the parent that the child can do it. They need to wear these elastics, usually on both sides, 22 hours a day, minimum. That means they're in all the time, unless they're eating. As soon as they're eating, they're brushing, they're putting them back in. Another common question is, how often do you need to change the elastics? Well, pretty much every time you eat, you should be discarding your elastics, which are now overstretched, and putting a new pair in. So that's at least 4 times a day. So if you're seeing your patient every 6 weeks or so, you should be giving them 2 bags of elastics. They should blow through those pretty quickly if they're wearing them right. If the patient's actually wearing the elastics, you will see a dramatic change in the bite by the next visit. If you're not seeing a change in the bite, they're not wearing them right, or they're not wearing them as much. The thing about elastics is if you wear them 16 hours a day, it doesn't work at all. You have to wear them that 22 hours a day. There's a sweet spot in there, where otherwise you're basically just rowing a boat. You're going forward, you're drifting back. You're going forward, you're drifting back. So anyways, that's what I have to say about posterior box elastics today. Stay tuned. Next time we'll talk about class 2. Have a great day.